There was a moment yesterday when I was driving around that I saw stopped at a red light. Certainly since my phone, sometimes it's connected to the car and the sound goes up.
Right.
Jim Wyatt, who covers the Tennessee Titans, took a video of the moment at OTAs when the music, you know how teams play music during practices, allowed to get the team fired up or into it. Fascinating that the sound that came out was something very familiar and near and dear to my heart. Do we have that sound? Can you play it for me, please? Wow. I can name that tune in one note. Hail to the victors.
At Titans practice.
Yes. And
that's very odd.
Well, especially since the new head coach of the Tennessee Titans, by way of the New England Patriots and the Kansas City Chiefs, a little bit in his playing days, and coaching days, the Houston Texans, but originally by way of the Ohio State is Mike Vrabel. Is he on the phone line right now?
Indeed he is.
The head coach of the Tennessee Titans joining us here on the Rich Eisen Show for the first time as head coach of the Tennessee Titans, Mike Vrabel. How are you, Coach?
Good, guys. How are you?
How did that slip past the goalie there, Coach?
Because I'm not in charge of the DJing booth, and so I guess Taylor infiltrated the playlist and was able to slip that one in there through the 5-hole, and it only lasted about. I didn't even know the beginning of it, so it lasted only until I started to recognize what it actually was.
So then you cut it off?
Yeah, we went to the next song. I look over there to our guy and I say, "Stretch." You know, I give him the old next song signal.
So what is the next song signal? Just a usual? It's just,
it's kind of like the finger going. Like you're kind of swiping. Just kind of go to the next song.
Okay, and which finger, Coach?
Index.
So you realize? So what did you say to Taylor Lewan afterwards?
Nothing.
What do you mean?
I
nothing?
said I hope you enjoyed it because that'll be the last time that we have it.
Oh, my gosh. See, I guess that's first-time head coach. That's just another thing you have to control, right? Don't you think?
Is the playlist, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And, we try to play respectful music. To me, that's not even respectful music.
Oh, my word. Oh, gosh. So what was the next song?
I'm not sure. I really don't. There's all over the place. There's rap, there's country, there's rock, there's...
Okay. But then the Hail to the Victors is something that...
we're going to back burner that one.
One and done, as they say in the business. Is that what you're saying?
That's it.
Okay. How's everything going?
Hoops.
How's everything going down there in Tennessee?
Good.
First foray as the HC.
We're excited to get back tomorrow out on the field. But it's, I think the guys, are into it. They're into the new offensive schemes, the defensive schemes. I think they're trying to improve fundamentally. I think that, they're trying to learn their teammates that are new either through the draft or through free agency. And so I think that that's going well. We've had a lot of young guys in here that have improved, and, our veterans have bought in as far as trying to learn new techniques or learning a new scheme.
And in terms of what fans should expect differently from what they have seen from the Tennessee Titans in previous administrations, how is Vrabel ball, if you will, going to be any different?
I don't know because I really don't want to compare what has gone on here in the past, but the same message that I've had to our owner, Amy, and our general manager, John, and our team, our players, and our fans since really I was lucky enough to be the head coach here and hire a staff was that our job as coaches to make sure that our players know what to do and play fast and aggressive. And so that however we have to teach them and develop them and inspire them to do that, that's what we're going to do.
In terms of offensively then, the scheme that you're saying that might be new, how will it be different from, the phrase exotic smash mouth that's been in there for the last couple of years?
The biggest thing for me is that players are more important than plays, and teammates are more important than players. And by that I mean, listen, everybody's got good plays, right? Everywhere you go. College football, there's great plays. NFL, there's great plays. But it's how do you get those players to understand that scheme and that system and making sure that they're the ones that make it go. They're all gurus defensively, offensively. We've got good plays. Houston's got good plays. Jacksonville's got good plays. And so how do we get our players to buy in and understand and really they're the ones that go out there and have to make it work.
Mike Vrabel, the head coach of the Tennessee Titans here on the Rich Eisen Show. Have you caught yourself at any point in time dropping a Belichickism or sounding like Bill in any way, shape, or form?
I think that there's always going to be people in your life that are influential. I was lucky enough to have invite my high school football coach down to spend a couple days with us this week and be in the meetings and be at practice. And just it was fun to see him here and interact with our team and just, it was good for me to kind of be with him and kind of just go back and share those memories. And so I think when you go through life, you have people that are influential in your career, professionally and personally. Bill's one of those guys. Bill Cowher's one of those guys. Urban Meyer's one of those guys. Luke Fickell's one of those guys. Romeo Crennel's one of those guys. So there's a lot of people that I've been lucky to be in contact with that I've tried to take some positives from and take some good things that helped me along in my playing career and now my coaching career.
You left out Lloyd Carr on that list, Mike. You left out Bo on that list.
I was probably a Michigan lean. People don't know that. Like I try to tell everybody, but in December I was probably a Michigan lean, and Coach Carr came to the house for dinner, and we had the old the old family dinner, the visit, the in-home visit, and that went well, and then just at some point in time in probably January, I just made the decision to go to Ohio State.
I got to tell you, Mike, I've heard this separately, okay? I've heard this throughout, because as you know, the state of Ohio, and I'll say it because, again, I appreciate you calling in, that state up north, okay, that there's always Ohio guys, Woodson, and we can go on, Desmond, et cetera, that go up north and exceed. I heard you were potentially one of them. Why'd you stay with the Ohio State?
You know what? It was my first football camp. The only football camp I ever went to was in Ann Arbor. And I went to the Michigan football camp, and I didn't know anything about recruiting or anything. And I just was running around out there playing speedball. And next thing you know, Cam Cameron drives in a golf cart. He said, "Gary Moeller likes to see you in his office." I'm thinking, what did we do? Did we do something in the dorm? Did we do something wrong? I'm nervous. I'm scared to death. And I go in there, and he's like, I'm kind of watching you, play this game, do his stuff, and we'd like to offer you a scholarship to Michigan. And I'm thinking, I didn't know that this came with the deal. I just came up here to go to camp for a couple of days with my buddies, and that was kind of the beginning of recruiting. And my best friend in high school had always been a huge Michigan fan, and we went to the games. Every other Saturday we go to Michigan, we go to Ohio State, go to Michigan, go to Ohio State, and felt comfortable with the coaching staff there. Greg Madison, recruited me, but in the end, Ohio State was the right place for me, and still stay in contact with those guys that recruited me. Still talk to Greg, still see Greg, and obviously Lloyd Carr, and then with Brady Hoke being there, and just know some of those guys are good coaches.
And are you aware that you are the all-time Ohio State leader in terms of catching touchdown passes in a Super Bowl? Are you aware of that, Mike?
I did not. I didn't know that was a stat that was kept.
Well, I just decided to make one up because I'm seeing a list here of multiple touchdown receptions in Super Bowl history. There's only 28 guys who have multiple touchdown receptions in Super Bowl history. You're the only defender. And I'm looking at this list here off the top of my head. I think you're the only Buckeye.
There's no Buckeyes.
Look at you. Look at you.
How about Santonio Holmes?
No,
I know he had one against with the Steelers. He only had one.
He just had that one, and obviously there is
a big one.
Well, Cardinals fans will place that in dispute that his leg. He never dotted that I, but that's okay. We could just leave that one out there. Let me ask you this one before I let you go, because again, I really appreciate you calling in the middle of all this stuff that's going on here in the month of May. What's Mariota's health like right now, Coach?
I would say that the health of the team right now is pretty good. I think that we've had most everybody that's here in the building available for practice, and then some guys go through different parts of practice. Some guys go through individual and walk through and 7-on-7, and that's it. Some guys go through the whole practice. Some guys, we try to make sure that we concentrate on what guys can do as opposed to what they can't. And, Marcus is out there with everybody else. So I would say that the health of the team right now is kind of where we want it. And the guys that aren't out there, they're working hard to get back. And, they're here early, and they're in a training room and taking part in whatever they can.
Great. Well, and you've got a great left tackle to keep him protected, keep that blind side protected. You got that guy.
I heard, I asked him, I said, Ohio State never even recruited you, and they didn't even know who you were. He always has fun with that. But I appreciate the time, man.
Thanks, Coach. I appreciate
thanks,
it.
Rich.
No, you bet. I appreciate the time.
You got it.
You got it. Thanks for calling. That's Mike Vrabel.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.